What is the last language video except for like Tuesday's test? But that's just telling you about the test and like getting you prepped and ready and excited for it. We're done with language, y'all. You did it. And I'm telling you, like, I don't like this is good because I don't think like we've gotten to this point of I know we didn't last year because last year was crazy when we just got this material. So we got it a little bit late. So I know we didn't last year, but even before that with the old books, I don't know if we've gotten to this point where we are, excuse me, right now. So yes, you did it. You stuck it out and you made it. See, and you didn't die. That's what I want to, that's what I need to write on my, like a shirt and say, but did you die? But did you die? Okay, so good job. I'm so proud of you. This is it. We're just gonna review over conjunctions and diagramming, and then you can look at page 190 and 191, but that's up to you. But I guess 192 is something too, but I'm not worried about those. So I hope that you have been able to grasp a little bit of an understanding of what language is and how important it is and how awesome it can be with so many of the things that we learned, and that you'll remember those parts of speech. Let me tell you, it's going to help you so much next year if you remember them. So don't forget them, because Miss Phelan's going to be teaching you some new parts of speech. There's only like a couple left, I think, if I can remember correctly. But they're big ones, but you are going to be able to get them down. If you have these already set in your mind, then those are going to be so much easier for you to learn. So really just keep those hammered in your mind and don't forget. So conjunctions, what are conjunctions? They are connectors, right? A conjunction, joins words or groups of words. So a conjunction joins words or groups of words. Remember, we had the song Conjunctions Connect, and I'll try to help, for you can't succeed unless I intercede. Okay, so those are conjunctions. And then also we have our conjunction junction song, What's Your Function, that you can remember conjunctions. The three that we did learn, there are other conjunctions, but the three that we learned were and, but, and or. Okay, so I want you to listen to these sentences and think, what do I need to do? What word should I insert in here? John wants to be an astronaut. He is afraid of heights. Okay, that's a run-on sentence because John wants to be an astronaut. He is afraid of heights. Okay, and it doesn't make sense. It's just running along without anything to stop it, and it's not quite right. So what do? We put a comma, and then we put one of those words. John wants to be an astronaut, comma, he is afraid of heights. What word would I put? And, but, or. But he is afraid of heights. Very good. I wouldn't put and he is afraid of heights because that's connecting and saying, oh yeah, they're the same almost, rather than saying, oh yeah, but this, okay? All right, next one. Jana picked up the books, Kyle set them on the shelf. Again, it's just running. Jana picked up the books, Kyle set them on the shelf. Well, what can we put there? We put our comma. We always put a comma. And the word and. Jana picked up the books and Kyle set them on the shelf. Okay? So that is just a great thing to just kind of keep in your mind to remember how those, because remember we talked about that before, putting our comma and putting a connector so that those run-on sentences would make more sense. Okay, so we talked about that before we even talked about conjunctions. Then we talked about conjunctions, and now it should all kind of be coming together to make that make sense. So I'm going to read some other sentences, and I want you to tell me what is the conjunction joining? That's what I want. Okay, so let me explain it. Okay, so here we are. Robert and Kenny, I want you to tell me the conjunction and tell me what it is joining. Robert and Kenny like to hike, and is the conjunction, right? Robert and Kenny like to hike, and is the conjunction. The words that are joined together are Robert and Kenny. So we say Robert and Kenny. Okay. So Sarah bought a shovel and pail for the beach. What's the conjunction? And then what is it connecting? Shovel and pail. So very good. The words being joined together are shovel and pail. So we would be shovel and pail. Caleb or Daniel will be here soon. What's the conjunction? Or is the conjunction, and what is it connecting? It's connecting Caleb or Daniel. Okay, so we would say Caleb or Daniel. Would you like green paint or yellow paint for your project? What's being connecting? Okay, so not just paint, but green paint or yellow paint. Our conjunction is or, and it's connecting green paint or yellow paint. I went to bed, but I could not sleep. So, but is the conjunction. What is it combining? Good. Some of you got that because you're like, wait, bed and sleep? But no, because I went to bed, but I could not sleep. It's got to be like the whole thing. Like I went to bed, but I could not sleep. They're kind of different. So the whole thing. Yes, it's connecting. I went to bed. I could not sleep, but I could not sleep. So if you got that, good job. Hop or skip to the finish line. Or, and then it's connecting hop or skip. Very, very good. That's awesome. So hopefully those will stay in your mind. They're easy because they're connectors, And when they're connecting things, just know what they're connecting, and that helps to make it easier. Well, we've got some sentences on the board, and we're going to do my favorite thing. You know, my favorite thing with sentences is to diagram them. Yes. So we're going to diagram these sentences to make them just to diagram them. So we've got a large red rose is growing there. So the first thing we do when we diagram is, before we diagram, is we mark the sentences. Remember that. So we mark the sentences. Where do we have our subject predicate divide? Right before is. And what is our verb? Is growing. Good. Some of you were just saying is, but don't forget growing. Is growing. And then what is growing? Rose is growing. Very good. Now we look at rose and we need to decide, is there anything that is describing the word rose? Yes. What kind of rose? Red. What kind of rose? Large. And then, yes, some of you remembered, always a, and the, always a, and the, always a, and the. Large red describes rose. Now, looking at is growing, there's one more word, and it says there. Is that describing anything? Is growing there. So this is an adverb describing where it's growing, where that rose is growing. It's growing there. Okay. So that's one of the, when we sang the song, how, when, where, or how much. Okay. But we didn't say the where one yet, and we haven't, we said how much instead of how often. But that's what it is. So when we are doing our diagramming, we put our line and we write our verb on the right side is growing. Then we put our little vertical line in front and we put our subject, rose, because remember, it should look just like the sentence. Rose is growing. It should sound like a sentence that makes sense. Now, underneath rose, we need to put our adjectives, and there's 3 of them. And it starts with so goes on the first line, okay, because that's how we read. We read going this way. Then large goes on the next line, and red goes on the last line. Large red rose is growing, and then we're going to do another one for our adverb because there is describing our verb and that goes underneath as well. Okay? So yeah, my favorite thing, my adverb, my diagramming, love diagramming. All right, so now let's try the next one. What's our subject predicate divide? Levi walked slowly across the room. Okay, so right after Levi, because walked is what? Is my verb. Levi walked. Who or what walked? Levi. Levi is my subject. Walked is my verb. And then walked, can we answer? I know you already recognize because there's an ly. See, with there, it's not as easy, but with slowly, you figured out, oh, that's got to be an adverb because he walked how? Slow. Oh, and that's what you guys had to do. Remember in our first video, the video right before this one, I was like, okay, you guys have to walk. Walk how? Slowly. So you should remember this one. Okay, so walked slowly. Now we need to do our diagram. So we do walked on the right-hand side. Draw our little vertical line in the front. Put our subject, which is Levi. Very good. And Levi walked how? That word, that adverb, goes right underneath walked. Slowly. Okay, so remember the words that describe our nouns and our verbs go right underneath our nouns and our verbs on a slanted line. All right, one more. This one is great because it's got our conjunction. Will and Zach shared the football. Where does my, so it goes right after Zach, and shared is our verb. Zach, will are subjects. There are the subject. And then that's when we get to do our what, third grade? Our rocket ship. So we'll do our verb side first, shared. Can you even see that? I don't know if you can see that. All right, I'm going to move it down in just a minute. Shared, and then you can barely see it, but yeah. So shared, and then we get to draw our rocket ships. Yes. We're in our galaxy section anyway, so remember will, the first noun goes on top, and then Zach goes on the bottom. And then what about our conjunction? Right, that dotted line in between and goes there. Will and Zach shared. And that's it, okay? And then if there was a verb, another verb on this side, shared and held the football, then you would do another rocket ship on this side with shared and held, right? So that's what you're doing, thinking that through for diagramming. We've learned all those fun things, so think that through very carefully. All right, so on page 189, think A, circle the conjunction in each sentence. That's it. So look for and, but, or. That's really simple. Then think B, mark each sentence, diagram the subject, verb, adjectives, adverbs, and conjunctions. So you're just marking your sentences just like we did. Make sure to mark them because that's preparation. That's going to be good preparation for whatever day is coming up, Tuesday, when you have your test, because they're probably going to have you mark sentences and diagram them. So this is good practice. That's it. You're officially done with language after Tuesday. Okay, so great job, guys. I'm so proud of you. I have loved teaching you language. It's been so much fun to watch you grow and learn through it, and I hope that it'll stick with you and that you'll remember these things that we've learned. Miss Monroe loves you so much, and I'm so proud of you for what you've done. Work hard on these pages, continue to make me proud, and Tuesday will be it for you. Yes, good job, guys.